Alright, welcome back to Dale Kramer's Custom Cars and Anything. Today we're working on that Dana 60 over there. And what we're going to do is, I don't have to do this now, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm putting a new green bearings on it. So what I didn't film it, but I'm going to explain it. Okay? So here's the axle with the old bearings off of it. Okay? And then what it consists of, now the axle flange would be over here where the wheel bolt's on, and this would be the axle. So what you got to do first is you got to take off the retainer, okay, off the axle. And how I did that is that I put two grooves in it, across from one another. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. And what I'll do is it'll damage the circular of this thing. And I put no heat on it or nothing. And then what I do is, if this, let's pretend this is still on the axle, I make those two grooves, like I was telling you. Wish I could stand it up, but I can't. And then what I do is I take a chisel and I put it down in that groove that I made with, and by the way, I made that groove with a death wheel grinder, a 4.5 inch grinder, with all my grooves I make with a cutting wheel on the 4-inch grinder. Okay, just to let you know. Anyway, make that groove with that grinder, one on each side again. Okay, make that groove. Then I go to work. Then I got two different size chisels here. I got a bigger one and a smaller one. So I take this bigger one, and then I put it in the vise here, you know, and I wrap it right where that groove is that I made. Okay, I wrap it right there, and I hit it hard and I use a 5-pound hammer. Okay, so I do that on this side, and then I turn the axle on the vise, and then I do it on the other side. And I put a couple extra grooves in there, and okay, now it's still on the axle, right? How do you get it off? Well, normally you can break this ring. If you keep pounding on it, you'll break it. Okay, but I don't do it that way. What I do is then I take the chisel. Remember, we're pretending. Well, here, let me see what I can do here. We're pretending this is still on here. There's still other pieces on here yet. All those pieces are still on here. This is the first thing you take off so you can get to those other pieces. So if that thing is still on here like this, I take the chisel. Here, I gotta set this down for a second. Hang on. I'll be good. No arguing. We're back. So now if this is still on there, let's say, then I take the chisel and put it in there, but then I don't go straight on, I go off an angle. So that way when you pound it, it works its way off like this, you know. Then time you get it pounded around, and the other ring is around, and eventually it works its way off. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? And that's what I do with the, now this is a ring. Now you got a bearing here. I do it the same thing. Because you don't want to cut into this axle anywhere. You wreck this seal retain, you know, where the inner axle seal will be riding on that. No. So you want to take your time, make the littlest cuts as possible, but the deepest ones as possible. Okay? So then, now after you get that off, okay, then what I do is you got the axle bearing itself is on there, you know, turning. So then I make two cuts on that too, okay? Excuse me, I got a cold. I make two cuts on it, and then I hit it until you smash it, okay? So make a cut on the bearing on this side, turn the bearing, make a cut on, and then hit it a couple times. And that temper, that metal, that'll bust, you know, like cast. And then you take that off. Then you end up, now you got the roller part, you know, this one's obviously smashed already. That's on there. Then I do it again with the chisel, and I got pieces everywhere then, okay? Then, now you actually got the bearing inner part that slides on the axle, okay? Hopefully you're getting this, you know, hopefully you understand this. Then I cut 2 slots in that again, and I do it again. You know, if this was on there, I take the chisel again at an angle in that groove, hit it, keep working its way down to find the else, and whoop, there it goes. Okay? And that's how I do that. The key is make 2 grooves in that, and then hold the chisel at an angle as you pound. You're gonna find as it turns, it's going down until you can slide it off. Okay? So now I'm gonna put this thing on pause, and you can see over here I put 1 green bearing on already, you know, so that's on the axle already in the place. And as you can see, the axle is too long for the housing. So now to make this work, you gotta, on my disc brakes, you know, you got a backing plate that goes between here and there, you know, for your brakes, for drum brakes. So you got to substitute that thickness of the metal with this plate. And it comes with the kit. So this has to be put on there like it was the backing plate. That way it keeps your axle side in play, right, you know. So anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the other axle. And then I'm going to measure this, and then we'll get them boxed up, and we'll get them sent off to get shortened, cut, and resplined. So, anyway, I'm going to put it on pause for right now, and we'll go do that. I went through this kind of fast, I know, but I got a cold, and I'm having a hell of a time with it. So, just keep replaying it, and you'll understand it. Okay, I got to put you on pause. Okay, I'm going to tell you about something real quick. So when you put these green bearings together, first thing, don't you ever, well, you can forget this, you know. I mean, this has got to go on there, but what I'm saying is, I slide that on first, you know. And then the on the green bearing, this is a key, so you can take this off. If you forget to put this ring on, you can take this ring off, and then it should slide over that. So anyway, then we'll slide that on next. Then once we get this pressed down to here, and you'll feel it because, you know, these stops, you'll be jacking it down to you know, and you'll feel it on the jack. It's like the jack can't lift no more, you know. So let's take this over to the press. I gotta get this thing all set up here so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully this works. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I got it set up here in the vise. I don't have this thing on a tripod, the camera here, so start seeing how this thing's working here. Looks like she's going just fine. But you can see that lip right there, you know, once it hits that, If you had a gauge on the press, the gauge would probably max out right away. Got nice and easy. Still going good. Sorry about the camera moving. I'm jacking with one hand and holding the camera with the other one. So I can get a close-up view here. Okay, right there. The jack just stopped, like it can't lift no more. So I'm up to that lip now. So, okay, so now we will take this thing out of here. And then we're going to put that retaining ring on and press that on. There's a better way of doing this. Filming this. Let me put you on hold for a minute here. Alright. Let's see if we can do this thing. Jeez. Should have thought of that right away, huh? What the heck's wrong with me? Mustn't be thinking I got a cold and I'm just miserable. Right. Very important that a guy gets it centered up in here. You're driving everything crooked and you're just going to snap shit, and make sure you're wearing safety glasses when you're doing something like this. Okay, what do you think? Does that look good? I think it looks pretty close. Well, let's see if we can drive that baby on there, huh? We are recording, ain't we? Okay, God, I just have to make sure about that. Is it moving? Tell me if it is. Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, looks like it is. Now we're gonna run that down to the bearing. We're still recording. So we feel that stop. Right there. Alright. I felt the stop on the jack. Just boom. Then you know you're bottomed out. You're there. You're there down there. Hey, you're there. It's there. Stop. It's done. Alright. Let's put some of this stuff away here. Alright. So, I'm going to run this to the bench and I'll be back to you guys. Okay. And we are back. Take all this off of here before it flips down and hits somebody in the toe. Alright. Let's walk by the Challenger here. And back to, I slid it in the housing. Okay, so there it is. It's slid into the center section there, into the pods unit, you know. Now you can see how much longer it is, you know. So I gotta cut and respine the axle to get this flange back down to here. Okay, so whatever that measurement is. So, and then we gotta add in though yet. Well, we won't add it in actually. Again, like I told you before, this plate is the thickness of a backing plate. Normally, you always got to remember that you got a backing plate that goes on here yet if you're doing drum brakes. Don't forget that. I made that mistake once. So, in the disc brake kit that I got for this thing, this comes there and takes the place of that backing plate. Because then what happens is that you put this on there with your felt seal, you know, and then your the bearings come with the like the felt paper seal, and then you'll bolt this all together, you know. Imagine if this was on there like this, and then you could slide this up to there, you know. Okay, so don't forget the thickness of the backing plate, you know, because that goes in here yet. But I ain't gonna be using a, this is the like the adapt, like a take the place of the thickness. So anyway, because you know I got the disc brake kit, you know, and then you know this will mount. This will mount like. Well, let's just don't get into that right now. Let's get these axles measured and then get them sent off. But that's all I got today. So, like I say, evidently, if this axle don't go in anymore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance on the inside of this flange, the inside of this housing flange, which is 3 inches. So I know this axle has to be shortened 3 inches. Okay? And then it has to be spined to the factory spines. So it's pretty simple. But each side might be a little different, which it will be because now I redid this because I wanted this pinion over 1.5 inches. So I did redo this from the previous video. God, this is terrible. Anyway, I gotta let you go. And please like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate it. But yeah, measure these, get these axles sent off. So it might be a couple weeks before I do another video on this. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Subscribe so you get notice. Bye-bye. Hit the bell. Bye-bye.